Hey guys, welcome to another episode of WoW Weekly with Myst. I hope everyone is doing good. Okay, so the weekly events this week is PvP Brawl's gonna be Classic Ashron. I am actually gonna skip it this week. Those that have been around the channel for a while, you know that from day one of me being a content creator, and keep in mind I've been a content creator for 8 years now, I was working on Nemesis back then before I even started becoming a content creator, because that was the expansion. That was I started doing content in WoD because WoD was kind of like, the game was already kind of going downhill, so I felt I had time to do content. When the game's really good, I like to play the game rather than make content on it. But yeah, vanilla to WoD was like me playing the fuck out of the game, not worrying about editing and all that. And then WoD to now is me as a content creator. And so I was always doing Nemesis. I never wanted to cheese it, I always wanted to do it the normal way. And back then you had to, it was current content, right? And it was really around the time of when they allowed you to sync quests with your friends. That's kind of the timeline of when you could more or less cheese it. I always considered that cheating, so I never did it. So 8 years is how long it took me to actually do that entire Nemesis. And it was an accomplishment that I told you guys about probably a month ago. And so I'm done. Because it took me so long to finish Nemesis, I have every other achievement out of there. I have absolutely everything out of Ashron. So there is no reason for me to ever go back. I love that place, and one day I will go back just to putz around and have fun. It is ironically one of my favorite battlegrounds, which is funny because I really didn't think that would ever be the case after running it nonstop for 8 years. And that's why, out of all the times that I was kind of upset they removed stuff, it was a time when they removed Ashron. Do you remember that? Do you remember when they removed that battleground altogether? And I was so bummed. I'm like, fuck, I have these achievements. And they didn't turn into feats. They were still achievements with points that you couldn't do in your achievement log. And then they brought it back. And I'm like, whew. Yeah, that was one of my, I was so panicky when they actually removed that. I'm so glad they brought it back. I don't know why they removed it. Even if people dislike it, you cannot remove a place like that. There is so many achievements in that place that are tied to a lot of things. And yeah, it just was very weird when they removed that, but it was very short-lived. I feel like it only lasted, I don't know, maybe a year max. Yeah. Anyway, that's going on this week if you need to go in there for whatever reason, or you can just do an honor farm. That's what Classic Ashron is really good for, and Classic Ashron is the best one. I hated the way they redid Ashron. I liked Classic Ashron which is WoD Ashron. For those that don't know, they changed the way the battleground ran. And basically what the change is that it ends. Yeah, that's basically the change, and then you have things to go after, right? And I liked when it didn't end, which is why I like Classic Ashron, because I liked just saying, okay, I'm gonna go do some battlegrounds for a couple of hours, and then I just went in and stayed in, and if something came up, I just left without feeling like I was fucking anyone over, I'd leave, someone would take my place, right? And yeah, I loved that. And that's honestly the reason it's my favorite Battleground. Yeah, because I liked the convenience of going in and leaving whenever I wanted. The other event going on this week is Time Walking BC, and then also Volunteer Day will be on Sunday. I'm going to do a video on that one. I kind of did already, but it was a stream. If you go to my channel and you search Volunteer Day, you will see it up there, but it was a short stream I did, couple of hours. I believe the reason for that was that I wanted to keep it Volunteer Day focused, and it only really takes a couple of hours to do that. But this is YouTube. People don't want to watch a 2-hour stream to find out what to do on Volunteer Day. So I was thinking I would do a shorter version of that this year and make an actual committed video to it. So I will try to have that on the channel on Sunday. Keyword try, you know. I will do my best. The one-day events are really tough as a YouTuber because it's easy, especially with all this alpha stuff going on. It's really easy to forget. And you know, you could be like, okay, I'm gonna remember on Sunday, and then Sunday comes and you're like not even thinking about it, right? So I'll do my best. I'll do my best, guys. Okay, so let's get to the news. So a few just general discussions here to start with is that Dragonflight Collector Edition is on sale. It is $99 US dollars. The normal price was $130. I went to the page to find a date for you guys, and it says sold out. So yeah, I'm not sure how long the sale's gonna be there, and I'm not sure if we're gonna get more copies. My suggestion is, if you are interested in this, definitely just keep checking on it. Hopefully they'll bring more in. On the topic of collector's editions, we also have the War Within collector's edition. So you will get the collector's set. There's also an art book. There's a game key, as usual. There's a Griffin Rider statue, and also pins. Now, I almost wanted this one, I will say. I like the collector's edition physicals, and I love my statues. As you guys know, you always see statues behind me in stream, and they are my pride and joy, basically. I love, like, out of everything of being a collector of WoW and all that, it's my physical collection I'm the most proud of. I have a lot of WoW physical stuff, and I'm most proud of that mainly because one day if the game fucking goes down and I lose all of this collection, I still have my physical collection, right? And so the statue is something I typically would go after, but it looks like shit. I'm just gonna say, it looks like a garbage. Yeah. And I've never been a fan of the pins. The art books are cool, but the pins are like, I see it and I very quickly disregard it from my mind. I am not a pin person, even if it's collector pins. Like, I just have never cared about pins. So yeah. And game time, you know, like, yeah, I wanted to get this, but yeah, it's a hard sell for me. Anyway, this is the physical War Within collector's edition. It is for pre-order. It won't be shipped until at least December of this year. It's pricey though, which is why, Like if it'd been $100, I would just grabbed the statue, you know, it's a collector item, whether it's garbage or not, but it's not $100, it's $252. However, I'm looking at it on the site that I shop on, which would show me in Canadian. I'll drop it down to US. So US, it is $180. But there's also gonna be shipping. Like, I'm so curious, because sometimes Canadian shipping can be pretty pricey. One thing I've noticed with these is it all depends on the timing. I've had times where a shirt will cost me like $40 for it to ship, and then another time where a statue costs like $20 to ship, right? And it's like where's the math there, you know? Like, yeah. So out of curiosity, let's see. I'm gonna click on it. Also, just gonna add that this is a mini statue. It won't be like the size of statues you see in my streams. I've gotten a statue like this before. There was the 15th year anniversary collector's edition, and I bought that one, and it came with a mini rag statue. So yeah, just thought I'd add that in, that if you're expecting this huge statue, it's not. It's gonna be like a nightstand type statue. That's where I keep my little rag statue anyway. Yeah, it's $100 for shipping. I'll screenshot. Okay, so I screenshotted it. I didn't want to show you the whole page because, like, my info is in there, right? So, including address and everything. But I will show you this part here. So, yeah. So, all in all, you can see why I ultimately decided that, no, the statue isn't worth it. I already kind of thought it looked like crap, and yeah, I'm not willing to pay almost $400 for a game I already have. And yeah, the only real reason to get the physical would be for the statue in the art book. And to be fair, someone's gonna sell the art book on eBay one day. Like, I'll just buy it that way, you know. I don't need the actual box. So yeah. I'm glad I have some of the old school collector's editions, because like I miss a time where they weren't so fucking pricey and scalpers weren't collecting them so fast. I'm very surprised that this is not sold out. But yeah, anyway, so if you are interested in that, there is that. Also, they have put some other stuff on the store involving War Within. So there's new hoodie, crop top, and a t-shirt. There's also the 20th anniversary apparel. I'm not a big fan of the t-shirt for this, but I do love the sweatshirt. I am definitely more a hoodie type girl though, so yeah, I'm always gonna probably choose like the hoodie versus the t-shirt. I do have quite a few t-shirts though from WoW though. But it just, you know, it just looks like a shirt you'd go buy off Etsy or something, you know? It looks like some random person made that shirt. There's also the desk mat. My desk mat's still doing pretty good. I'm still rolling with the classic WoW desk mat that I got at the 2019 BlizzCon. But yeah, I'm still good. Plus, it's a little too bright for me. I like dark stuff, you know, Mist of Darkness. That name didn't come out of nowhere, and so pretty much everything around my desk is black, right? So yeah, you know, the blue is a little too colorful for my liking. There's the Silverbound treasure box. I love this. I have some boxes like this. I'll take a picture and add it into the edit. But yeah, I love these kind of things. But it's a little pricey. Yeah, this sucker is $91 for me. Canadian prices. Here, I'll swap to US. 65 US. And then there's the Alliance and Horde rings. I think these look like garbage. I always wanted like an Alliance ring to wear. But these look like complete fucking garbage to me. Yeah. Especially this one right here. Like, this looks like like it's just painted on. And yeah, I give it less than a year and that paint's all worn off of the ring and, you're tossing it away. They look like gumball rings to me. So that's a no on my part, but I do have one piece of jewelry that I wear. I'll take a picture of it as well to show you guys, but here, this is a necklace that I bought years ago, and yeah, I wear it every so often on stream. I say every so often because it's actually heavier than it probably looks. It's a very heavy necklace. So yeah, it doesn't get worn on a daily basis. That's for sure. It's a little too heavy for that. But every so often I do wear it on stream. Okay, so the first thing I thought I would just mention is Huolon has a shield now. I can't believe no one found out all this time about this. And when I say no one, because like maybe you were farming it and you noticed something different. When I say no one, I mean YouTubers. I mean no one in the public eye, And yeah, so I couldn't. It was just so bizarre to me that like no one had reported on it or anything. So I discovered this week. So if you still need Huolon's mount, definitely go after it. He has a barrier now. And yeah, I was getting a lot of comments on this video of people asking what a barrier is. And I am really surprised that there's a huge amount of people that have no idea what a barrier is. So I'm going to tell you right now what a barrier is. Basically without a barrier on a mob, they can be one-shotted, which might sound great, but when it's a mob that's low drop rate and has even remotely any type of timer, doesn't matter if it's long or like if it's longer than 5 minutes, you're waiting, right? And basically what the barrier allows is it allows everyone to get a hit in. Now, yeah, you can go on some low pop servers to like farm these kind of mounts, but the reality is everyone knows that method. You may still encounter another person there, right? This isn't a new method. It was a very good method back in the day, and sometimes it can still be a good method because the game's dying, right? But when the game is popular, everyone knows about that method and will choose to use it. So the reality is you need this barrier. Huolon didn't get it for a long time, which was really weird because Shaw, Undasta, and all those got it, and that was in the same expansion. So for those wondering what a barrier is, that's a barrier. It's really what makes the decision on whether you're going to be able to loot that mount. When it's longer than a 5-minute spawn, if you miss out and you were waiting there, it's a bummer. Back in the day, I never had missed out, but I always worried that one day I would. So after a while of, getting nothing from him and being out there all the time farming him, I just ultimately decided I was done risking it, and I chose to stop. And then I did a return, which is how I found out, right? Because I had been talking about Huolon in last week's video, and then I decided to go out there, and then that brought on a whole other video. So for those that didn't catch that video, I'll link it at the end. But yeah, the moral of the story is, if you stopped farming him because you were tired of him not having a barrier, it's free to go back to him, and yeah, you will definitely get a barrier. It's pretty quiet out there anyway, so you'll probably be by yourself anyway. But in the off chance that you're not, you're still safe, right? Because the reality is sometimes it can look like you're by yourself. There could be a rogue stealthed right where he spawns, or, like I used to do that. I used to stealth in my cat. So I'm sure a lot of the time when I farmed him, people thought they were alone too, right? Because I would just be there in stealth. So just thought I'd add that. That's really the only major thing that's going on right now. The next parts is for the next patch that releases tomorrow. So Mists of Pandaria, some of you guys might be wondering when we're gonna get that. So we will see it a week after, which I was gonna mention this in my goals and accomplishments section, and I probably still will more in detail, but quickly, I'm just gonna say that's why I didn't finish that game that I was recording. I was supposed to stream it again on Saturday to complete it, and I'll be completely honest, I was busy doing a shit ton of achievements in WoW, and I just didn't want to stop, which meant I didn't want to stream, and I didn't want to swap games, right? And so I ultimately just took the day off, and which was really nice. It was a day where I wasn't editing and I wasn't streaming, and yeah, so it was like a day to myself, and I don't have days like that. Every day I am working, every day, whether it be the non-content creator job, or the streams, the editing, the YouTube. It might all look like a hobby, but it's not. You guys wouldn't get nearly this much content from me if I didn't treat it like a job, right? If I treated it like a hobby, I wouldn't even do guides. You would never see a single guide video, because I would not do that as a hobby. I would just show gameplay. So yeah, because I had found out that doesn't start till the week after, that's kind of when I'm gonna start the patch, right? I don't, the patch is cool, it's gonna bring new seasons and all that, but I can wait a week, right? I can do that on the side of doing the mop remix stuff. So with that said, I plan on finishing that Thaumaturge game that I've been playing this week. Some info regarding the fated raid for Dragonflight, the Awakened. So a little info on the Awakened raids. At first, this was the schedule. I'll post it. This is not the schedule anymore. They decided to rotate it out weekly. So, yeah. So, just by looking at that, Vault will be week 1, Aberris week 2, Amadressel week 3. They've mentioned nothing on a change involving when all the raids are awakened, so that one may stay to week 7. So we might just have 2 rounds of each raid, and then after that, they'll all be awakened and you can do them whenever. Also, something you'll be able to do when the patch goes live on Tuesday is that you can get a personal tab now, and you can customize it however you want. So this tab is unlocked account-wide, and the designs are character specific. So each character can customize the tab differently. I like this idea. I think it's good when you're just kind of rolling around, you know, just doing solo stuff. Personally, I don't really run around with my tab. Like there's a couple of characters, I guess, where my tab is part of the transmog, but for the most part, I've actually found tabs to be tacky, and yeah, I don't roll around with them very often. But I do think it is a cool function. Yeah. So anyway, this tab is unlocked through a quest line, and it's Chromie. So if you're interested in the personal tab, go check out Chromie. She should have a quest line started for you. Okay, guys, so now for the big news. So we are going to get into the topic of alpha and, you know, the war within. So alpha started this past week. The first wave of invites went out. So this will not be the only wave. So if you didn't get in, don't worry, there's going to be a couple more waves of alpha. So with that said, there's been a lot of news. The thing I thought we would start with is the pre-patch. I wanted to kind of get that out of the way first, since it kind of is, since it's something that would happen in Dragonflight, right? And I like to focus, you know, one expansion at a time. So yeah. So we don't know too much of the pre-patch, but I thought I would show off what we do know. There will be a thing called Radiant Echo event, and that is that every 30 minutes a Radiant Echo will spawn in a specific zone. The zones that it can be in is Dustwallow Marsh, Searing Gorge, or Dragonblight. And for the duration of the pre-patch event, there will always be a Radiant Echo event available somewhere. For the first phase of the event, a Coalesced Memory boss will spawn in one of the zones. It can be DPS down. Many NPCs reflecting past memories of Azeroth will spawn, but it can be easily killed by just a few people. And then once the memory is defeated, a second phase of the event will begin. 6 events will spawn through the zone that the Radiant is happening at, reflecting past memories seen through your adventures in Azeroth, and these will reflect events that happened in that continent. For example, Dustwallow Marsh shows Kalimdor memories, Searing Gorge shows Eastern Kingdom memories, and Dragonblight will show Northrend memories. These events can include things like slay enemies of the past, help settle battles, or collect famous items from the past. Once all 6 events are completed, a final boss of old will spawn. The final bosses are Onyxia if it's in Dustwallow Marsh, Rag if it's in Searing Gorge, and Lich King if it's in Dragonblight. And defeating each boss will complete the Echo. There is a vendor, but right now we have no costs on them, but I will just show you what they are. So you'll be able to get a lifeless stone ring, which helps you create a new heirloom ring. And then there's the 32 slot Warband bag. There's a 30 slot Warband bag. There's 3 battle pets, a Whelpling, Ghoul, and Cobalt. And then there's a full set of item level 489 1/8 champion gear, which is equivalent to normal mode raid gear in Dragonflight Season 4. And yeah, so that is what we know so far on the pre-patch event. Okay, so here we have the Dalaran axe, the Dalaran crossbow, Dalaran daggers, 1-hand mace, 2-hand mace, an offhand, polearm, shield, stave, 1-hand sword, 2-hand sword. I love this 2-hand sword. Yeah. And then a Dalaran wand. Okay, so next up we have some zone previews. So this here is Isle of Dorn. Okay, I think this might be the next zone. Yeah. So this next zone is Dornoggle. Ooh, that's nice. I like that building. This might be a new one. Yeah. So this is Dark Khazad. That's cute. Okay, so this is Dar Oztin. Freywold Village. Golgrim's Reach. Ironwold. Storm's Watch. And then the final area we have here is Tranquil Sand. That must be Dalaran, like, crashing in, right? So profession knowledge will not carry over to the War Within specs. There will be some new craftable epics, of course. And work orders are still gonna be there. That was a bummer to me, honestly, because I have disliked work orders from the beginning, and I went all of Dragonflight not doing a damn thing with them. Like, I hated them so much that I refused to do them, which was a big thing for me, and it's a big reason why I didn't like Dragonflight, because professions I've always loved. It's always been one major reason I play the game. And yeah, so with Dragonflight, there were 2 major features that I didn't like, and both of those major features are features that are staying in the game. So yeah, the other feature was dragon riding. And yeah, so I'm very, let's just say I'm going in, like, okay, let's just put it this way. I buy the expansions to continue making content for you guys. Yeah, if I was not a WoW content creator, I think we would have actually quit in Dragonflight, and I would have solely played other games. Yeah. Because 2 major features being a dislike and now they're staying? Yeah, I'm just gonna say, you guys thought the content was a little low in Dragonflight. I am not expecting that to improve. Yeah, I'm really not. But it all depends on everything else, I guess. So on screen here is some alchemy consumables that you'll be able to get. We also have some blacksmith consumables and some enchanting consumables, some engineering consumables, as well as inscription and jewel crafting, and then ending off with some leatherworking consumables. There's also some flasks and vials. So we also have a first look at the new Spellbook UI. I think it looks great. I love the little ribbon on there. It looks like an actual book. And yeah, I like what they have done with it. So basically, rather than it being a separate menu, it's now a tab in the talents and specialization menu. So, as earlier, we kind of saw, like, Dalaran crashing into one of the zones. So the very first quest kind of begins pretty heavy. You wake up surrounded by the ancient city's ruins, and you fight off some hostile Nerubians who seem to be involved in the city's fall. So that's what this wreckage was all about. So I think it's, it goes without saying, Dalaran was attacked and we lost the fight. And yeah, I don't want to give away too many spoils here because this is an expansion that hasn't released yet. So yeah, I'm not gonna totally spoil stuff that's been discovered on Alpha as far as storylines, but I think you can at least assume what I just said. And yeah, so that should make for an interesting start to the expansion. I thought we would talk a little on leveling. How is the leveling gonna be in the expansion? So the War Within is massively reducing the experience that will be required for you to level. You need only about 45% of the total experience required to reach 70 than you required in Dragonflight. And I think that's a huge thing, because I thought Dragonflight was fast for leveling. Yeah. And honestly, as a longtime player, I appreciate the fast leveling, but if I were a new player coming in, I'm just gonna say, I think the fact that you're always speeding into the new content is kind of bad. Yeah. I do like it as, I feel, okay, I'm just, hot take here, but I think when it comes to WoW expansions, I think the only people that benefit off them are people like us who have been playing for years. Yeah, I personally think new players shouldn't even think of the newest expansion. Yeah, yeah, it just confuses them and all that. And with the increased leveling, I think it confuses them even that much more. Yeah. But anyway, here we are. So here's the chart. So this is the changes that you will see with the experience. Okay, so here is the chart so you can see the difference. Dragonflight experience requirement, TWW is of course the War Within, and you can see the differences there. And I'll just scroll all the way down so you can see. So there'll also be some account-wide experience increases. So the experience reward comes from achievements for reaching level 80. For those that don't know, level 80 will be the new max. And each character in your account with which you receive level 80 increases the experience of all your other characters by 5%. 4 other achievements in the same branch likely reward another 5%, which stacks up to 25 total experience. So yeah, here's the achievement here. 1 Warband Mentor, the War Within. You can see it says reach level 80 with 1 character, and your reward is 5% additional. There are follow-ups, and it goes all the way up to 5 characters at 80. This reach maximum level with 5 different classes. You can work on that right now if you wanted to, right? And Dynamic Duo is gonna issue you a reward. So this is easy. I did this over 10 years ago, right? Yeah, I have been a person with many alts for a long fucking time. Yeah, I feel like back then, people didn't really run around with a whole lot of alts. Yeah, I feel like there was just a select few of us that actually did the achievement back at that particular time. Yeah. Because if you really think about it, that was shortly after achievements even came into play. Because, achievements came in, 2010? But anyway, you just need the Dynamic Duo, but you might as well work on all these if you don't have them to get some characters progressed for your experience achievement, right? So I guess now for reaching the 2-character one, which is the Dynamic Duo, you will receive a toy. It's called Warband Bank Distance Inhibitor. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Delphs. So this is one of the main features of the War Within. It's small scenarios that can be done with groups ranging from 1 to 5 players. And and they can be entered at any time from the overworld. So you approach them, and as you reach the entrance, there's an option to enter the delve, and they have no loading screen, so you just accept the prompt and you'll be right in there. And when you're inside the delve, you'll have access to Bran Bronzebeard as a companion when you're not in a full group. You can interact with his supplies at the beginning to set things like what role you want him to be and what equipment he's gonna use. And yeah, so they work very similar to the MOP scenarios in that sense. And especially since you advance through completing objectives. So as you're in there, you'll find side objectives such as rare mobs, treasure chests that grant powers to help through the delve, herbs, mining nodes. Bran will pick up for you if no one in the group can. You can also find summoning stones through the delve. They'll grant extra checkpoints in the delve in case you wipe. At the end, you'll face a boss. After you defeat him, you'll gain access to a treasure vault with gold and a treasure chest. And more treasure chests appear on higher level delves that require keys to unlock. And there's also a new currency that's called Resonant Crystal that you'll be able to get, and that's used to buy cosmetic items. Also, to leave, it looks like you just click this helicopter. Of course, that might be different in different delves, but clearly we can see it in this video here. So next, we have Warbands. Now, Warbands is... I said this back when Alpha first got, revealed, but Warbands is my favorite feature. Like, if there's gonna be any hype from me from this expansion, it would be from Warbands. Yeah, because the reality is I don't give a fuck what they do with expansions. I play old content because their new expansions suck. You know? So I play old content, and Warbands is good for that. So yeah, Warbands is designed for a player that plays old content. So this video is actually pretty quick, so instead of going over all the details, I'm just gonna roll this video for you guys, and yeah.
More than half of World of Warcraft players play 2 or more characters. In the upcoming expansion, The War Within, the entire character roster is leveling up with Warbands, a new account-wide progression and collection system. When a player first logs into The War Within, they'll be presented with the new character selection screen. Here, players can assign up to 4 of their favorite characters, Horde and Alliance alike, to be displayed in front of a World of Warcraft-themed scene. All characters on a player's respective account, regardless of what server they're on, are considered part of their warband and combined into a single convenient list. Gone are the days of players mailing precious resources between their characters. In The War Within, there is a new dedicated bank tab for sharing all non-soulbound items among a player's roster. Hundreds of inventory slots can be unlocked across multiple bank tabs purchasable with gold. Or that a player mines on one character can be put into the bank tab and then be used by another character to create an armor set through their blacksmithing profession. By leveraging the expertise of a player's entire warband, crafting and leveling up profession skills are now more efficient. As players complete quest lines and gain factions' trust, they will be earning a variety of different currencies. In The War Within, many currencies are no longer locked in the wallets of each character and can be transferred across the warband. In addition, flight paths across all of Azeroth are available for all players' characters as soon as they're discovered. Less time making the 6-hour journey on foot from Teneris to Winterspring, and more time lounging the fast way. As players progress through The War Within, they'll come across pieces of gear that are warbound until equipped. These can be sent to and equipped by their other characters, enabling players to increase a warband member's power. However, once equipped, it can no longer be passed around. This essentially allows players to play on one character while potentially gearing up others at the same time. While adventuring in current or long-past content, warbands also make finding and collecting new looks, also known as transmogs, easier. Once looted and equipped, the item's aesthetics automatically populate to all warband characters who can also wear that armor type. If a player's cloth user is doing a transmog run of an older raid and plate gear drops, it's now added to their collection, ready to be applied to any warband member who can don plate armor. The same can be said for follower NPCs like Bran Bronzebeard. Whatever a player finds and equips to Bran is also shared across their entire warband. With the introduction of warbands, reputation progress earned in the War Within will be counted across all their characters regardless of which one they're playing. For players who adventured through the Dragonflight expansion, their account-wide reputation level will match the highest level achieved on any of their characters. Achievements like, "And We're All Out of Mana Buns," and Warsong Gulch Veteran, as well as nearly 2,000 others, will now share progress across warbands. For most of these, existing progress across characters will be combined. If a player's character starts earning progression towards an achievement, another one of their characters could finish it. Whether players are into achievement hunting, collecting every transmog, or becoming the strongest around, warbands introduce new quality of life features to make the most of your time in Azeroth. There's never been a better time than now to assemble a warband and prepare to journey through Khazalgar in the War Within.
So, on the topic of the warbands, so here's the tabs. So you can see that all the tabs, there's 5 tabs, and if you want all 5 tabs, it's gonna cost you a total of 3,126,000 gold. Now that is a good chunk. I'm hoping I can live off of 3 tabs, because I think even 100k is a lot for a fucking tab, let alone 2.5 mil. I'm just gonna say, I would hope that I would hope we're at a point where like gaining 3 million gold is so fucking easy now in the new expansion that this really doesn't look like they're just aiming at gold farmers. Yeah. 'Cause the reality is, I'm just gonna say not all of us have time to farm gold, I'm basically an accidental gold farmer. I do good with my gold, but it's all on accident, and I don't really buy anything, so that's why I just always have a lot, right? Because I collect it, but I don't really spend it anywhere. So here we have a new legendary. It's a trinket. It's called Bronzebeard Family Compass. You will discover this in the first season of War Within. Okay, so Season 1 War Within Dungeons. So this is the rotation that we will have. So we're gonna see Arachara, City of Threads, the Stone Vault, the Dawnbreaker, Mists of Skith, Necrotic, Siege of Borealis, Grim Batal. I guess on a plus note, Necrotic Wake is a mount farm of mine that I do every week right now. And if it turns out that I still don't have that mount by then, I guess I will have a reason to try for it over there. I'm not a fan of these old dungeons in new content. Like, I know people seem to have wanted that, but I think it's stupid. Like, these people are pretty much condoning Blizzard on not making new content for an expansion. So it's like you're paying for a new expansion to run the same old dungeons you've ran before multiple times, except for a couple that will swap out every season, Yeah. The reason is because people bitched that they were doing the same dungeons over and over. Play something else then, Like, yeah, it's I'm just gonna say, I never wanted to go back to Siege of Borealis. Just saying. You know, it was cool the first few times, but do I want to do a Season 1 War Within of Siege of Borealis? Fuck no. Okay, so there's some new achievements for dungeons. So with the Warbands arriving, they're experimenting with more achievements. And so, yeah, we see a bunch. There is an achievement that's supported by 3 others. So there is Algarian Dungeon Tank, Algarian Dungeon Healer, and Algarian Dungeon Damage Dealer, each requiring you to complete a mythic dungeon with each of the game's roles. Completing Algarian Dungeoneer rewards you a Transmog set. This is it. I'd be interested in knowing the percentage of people that do this because, you know, it's like, I'll just say, I have a tank, I have a healer, and I have a DPS. You can easily do that. They're not even asking you to do an M+. They're just asking you to do Mythic, right? So, not a biggie. M0's like doing a heroic. Did they make these achievements because people are complaining that not enough tanks or heals joins up to do a dungeon? Or, you know, because what you're gonna be left with is people who don't really care about that role and they're just doing it for the achievement, right? Which is equivalent to getting a bad tank or a bad healer. Okay, so this is just the dungeon journal. So this is City of Threads. It's showing 4 bosses. So Arathor, the loot is 437. Item level can always change though. This is only heroic though, keep that in mind. So we have Fangs of the Queen, Proclamation, and the Grand Splicer. Priori of the Sacred Flame is a 3-boss dungeon. So Captain Dalecry, Baron, and Merprey. Same item level. Dawnbreaker. We have Shadow Crown, Anubikaj, and Rashan. The Rookery, Curios, Stormguard, and Voidstone. I'm not gonna go over their abilities like at a later time, right? We're just doing a, you know, this video is gonna be long enough, so we're just doing basics here. Stone Vault, we've got Edna, Gamoric, Forge Speakers, and the High Speaker Erich. Arikara, City of Echoes, 3 boss dungeon, Avinox, Anub, and the Harvester. Cinderbrew Meadery is a 4-boss dungeon, Goldie, Ipa, Brewmaster, and Bank. And then the last dungeon we're seeing here is Dark Flame Cleft, which is Waxbeard, Blazicon, the Candle King, I'm very curious of that one, and the Darkness. Man, I already like a Dark Flame just off of these 2 bosses. The Candle King and the Darkness. I swear if those aren't badass bosses, I'm gonna be very, very disturbed. Okay, so next is Nerubar Palace. This will be your first raid. So we got the boss list here, so there'll be 8 bosses. Here is some pictures of the zone. So it does look very cool. Yeah, I will say. I do like the pictures here. Looks badass. So this is the loading screen. And then over here we have a shit ton of achievements, as usual with raids. Okay, so some new NPC models for the War Within. So we got Illyria Windrunner here. Anduin. And he's looking not bad. That is not bad right there. And I love what he's got going on here. Yeah, that transmog looks badass. Mora. Degrin. Farron. High Speaker Elrich. Magni. Orwena. Queen Ansarek. And she looks cool. Yeah, that is a cool looking NPC. Oh, we get to see the Candle King. Okay, so this is the Candle King. I think he could have looked better, but he looks decent. So, not horrible, but not as cool as I was envisioning in my head. But, you know, he could have been worse. Void Ethereal NPCs. Here's another. Earthern NPC. He looks badass. Nerubian Underking. Very cool. Nerubian Bat. A bat with an interesting tail. Just saying. Nerubian Priest. And just a simple worm. Okay, so the next thing, and I meant to add this to Warbands, but whatever. But the next thing is that you humans that are used to picking human because of the rep gain of 10%, that will no longer be available. They said that that was actually causing an issue in the Warband set, in the Warband feature, due to the character specific nature. So it's, yeah, from what I've read, they didn't just decide to wipe it from you human players. It just was causing an issue because Warband also has reputation stuff going on. It was good for the years, right? And I still refuse to play a human, right? Like, if I had ever played a human player, you know, I think the closest I ever got to a human was like my Worgen. But, and I have a human made just to say I have all the classes, but the reality is that buff still wasn't good enough for me to fucking go play a human, you know? Yeah, it's like, I'm a human in the real world. I don't want to play a human. So now you're not forced to, right? I like racials. I guess the next question is, will they get something else in return, right? You know, that is a question that's unanswered right now. It just kind of came to me, and you know, there's been no mention, but I imagine human players are gonna wonder, like, will they get something in return to make up for the loss of the rep gain, since it is a racial and all characters have a racial. I don't know if humans have anything else that's decent, you know? Like, most people might have just picked human because of the rep gain. So I guess with that said, you know, make good use of that racial while you can, I guess. And I always love, like look at this. I'll screenshot this comment. But I always love these kind of comments. This guy's like, where can I get a refund for race change? Only change for this bonus. It's like, you got use out of it. All these people that like want refunds the minute Blizzard changes anything. Yeah, change at your own risk. You know, this is an ongoing game with constant changes. At any moment, they could change literally anything with your character, with the game, with the way you operate in the game. Like, to think you would even get a refund for that. Yeah, it's like, I just always laugh about commenters like that. Yeah, it's like you used it, so you got your money's worth. This isn't one that really gets me. Like I said, I'm human. Why would I want to play a human in my fantasy world? But I can understand. I can understand where some disappointment would come, because I think of, you know, if they ever took my Shadowmeld away, I would be fucking pissed, right? But then Shadowmeld is quite a bit different than a racial rep perk. I'm just gonna say, like, one of the reasons I love Shadowmeld is because the game is fucking buggy. And the game will put you in combat and keep you in combat, even although you're not fighting something. That's where I use Shadowmeld. I don't use it to get away from players or anything. I use it for those moments where I'm trying to mount up and it says you can't mount up because you're in battle and we're literally standing in the city. You know? That is why I use Shadowmeld. So I feel like Shadowmeld is almost at need. And honestly, I think everyone should have Shadowmeld. You know, Shadowmeld is, you know, I'm a Night Elf main, so of course I'm gonna say it's awesome. But I have to, like, I gotta imagine everyone thinks Shadowmeld is awesome. Whether you main a Night Elf or not, you're probably, if you don't main a Night Elf, you probably wish you had Shadowmeld sometimes when you're in-game stuck in combat, or you're, you know, like, that shit is just really good. Yeah. So I can understand, in a way, it pissing you off, but I just, I think there's a difference. Like, rep, you know, it's not like you can't gain rep, you know, you can gain rep and just do Dark Moon for your 10%, right? But with Shadowmeld, like, without Shadowmeld, if you were a person that, like, I don't know, if you got in combat a lot, if you got that message a lot, I think it could actually kill the game for you. You know, I feel like Shadowmeld, that's why I think everyone should have Shadowmeld. I don't think it should be Night Elf only. I think because we live in a world of where Blizzard doesn't like to fix their game, Shadowmeld should just be on every character. Yeah. Because it's a way to get out of it without logging out and shit. So on the topic of racials, this is for the Earthern allied race racials. So let's see what we got. Azerite Surge. What's this? You are always well fed but cannot consume food. Ingest minerals. That's an interesting one. Finesse increases gathering materials. When you gain experience for exploring a location, gain so-and-so additional experience. Okay. So it's almost like the rep one, except experience related. There is the Paladin mount for the Earthen Paladins. And then they have Heritage Armor set as well. Ooh, that green looks kind of nice. Pretty sure that's Shaman Totems. Yeah. Those look pretty badass, those totems. Yeah. So over here, we're seeing the customization There's a lot of pictures here, so I'll try to go through them fairly fast. I find the crystals on her to be interesting. Yeah, that got a little Layla, Princess Layla look going on here. Mohawk. So there is a lot of customization here. The page number right now is saying 24 over 269. So that's why I said I'm gonna try to go through this fast for you guys, because there is a lot of pictures here. So yeah, so I hope you like my voice while I ramble through it all to fill in the void. Yeah. So there's a lot going on, a lot you can do here. It'll be interesting to see them. Oh, I really like that. Yeah. I love the black eyes. But yeah, it will be interesting to see them in a transmog with all these gems on them. I will just say. Now, I apologize if we are kind of going fast, but like, seriously, there's 300 pictures here. I don't want this to be a super huge part of the video, but I do like showing you guys everything, which is why, for anyone new here, I always timestamp this stuff. It's because I know that maybe not everyone cares to see absolutely every single piece of news. These hairstyles are wonky, man. Wow. But yeah, feel free to use the timestamps as always in every single one of my news videos. You know, seeing all the customizations here might, you know, be something you don't care about, right? So, normally it's not 300 pictures, though, I will say. Like, usually it's just a few, not a huge big deal. But it is cool to see them doing more with the customization. You know, we're not just doing different colors of eyes or different colors of hair. They're actually putting some detail into this stuff. You know, that was definitely proven with the hair there. So yeah, because those hairstyles were definitely unique. So we're on to the males now, which is probably why it's, you know, almost 300, because it's both genders. But we're almost done. Oh, that looked cool. The spikes coming from his shoulders. That was nice. This kind of looks like undead hairstyles, right? Ooh, the black was beautiful. Yeah. I definitely like my black. That blue was nice. The dark one. Okay, that's the last one, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that little run through of the Earthen allied race. So here's another. This is the Harronir Race customization. and hopefully less pictures, but we'll see. So this is the basic of what they look like. It says 93. 93 might sound like a lot, but we can run through 93 pictures in no time here. So here we go. Oh, I thought they had a tail for a sec, but it was just the cape. Wacky ears, man. Like, I thought my night elf had some weird ears. This is eyebrows, though, that we're looking at. Oh, sideburns. Sideburns on a girl, man. Like, anytime in the past when, like, my hair kind of, like, falls down there and looks like a sideburn, I, like, move it immediately. I hate the idea of sideburns on a girl. But that's very interesting. Oh, lips. Okay, interesting. Okay, we're on to the males now. I laugh every time I see the ears. They just, they look funny. We really need pictures of the feet. Oh, there is customization. Okay. Just one, though. It's either you have nails or you don't. That's literally the customization. Okay, that's the last picture there. So that is that. Once again, that was the Harronir Race customization. Also, not confirmed, but almost confirmed in an interview with Ian lately, he had mentioned that the Dracthyr class restriction is likely to be removed in early War Within. So it might not be removed right off the bat, right on launch, but, you know, early would imply, let's say, the first 6 months. Okay, so we got quite a bit of pictures to roll through again here. I thought it'd be cool to show off some mobs, so we're just gonna do a quick run through. But I didn't want to leave this part out. There's some cute guys in here. Some of them may end up being pets, but right now this is just a list of creatures you will find out in the world. So yeah, and some NPCs. And I'm rolling through it fast because it's kind of like the other section was, where it's almost 300 pictures. But some of them may look pretty cool. And these guys look pretty badass. They look like they'd be in like a dungeon or something. So yeah, once again, this is NPC models and also some mobs. Aw, he looks kind of cute. Oh, this is the sheep we saw in that one picture earlier? I'm just gonna say, this guy here, he reminds me of, you remember we had the green one in Shadowlands? Wasn't he a boss somewhere? I feel like he was a boss in a dungeon. I think he was a boss fuck, what's that dungeon where you get the slime serpent? Yeah, but anyway, that dungeon, I feel like he was a boss in that one. Well, this guy's colorful. I like that. Ooh, pretty. Looks like our mount. The mount you get. The dragon riding mount you get for pre-purchasing the War Within. Okay, that was a huge list. A lot of cool looking NPCs and mobs. Okay, so next up is a bunch of tier sets that have been discovered for Season 1. So we're starting with the Rogue tier set. Ooh, I don't really like yellow, but that yellow and black looks really good together. And that red. Yeah, their tier set looks pretty good. I like the mask under the helm, and yeah, looks really nice. I like that one. This is the Druid one. I do really like the shoulders. Oh, this red one is nice. Yeah, I like the shoulders. I like the back piece with the paw print. This is probably one of the very few Druid tier sets I've liked in a long time, which is always a bummer because I main Druid, but I am so unbelievably picky that I haven't really liked a Druid tier set in a while, but I like this one. I was a little iffy off the first couple of pictures, but now really seeing the shoulders, seeing that back piece, there's also you know, the little paw thing. You see it more on the first and last, but there's like a pin, kind of like a medallion there. And yeah, this one definitely looks better red though. Oh, there's a sixth one. My bad, guys. There's another. This is for the warrior. I like the lightning that seems to be coming from it. Although I feel like it was just with this one. Did the first one have lightning? Yeah, it's like this one has lightning coming from it. Oh, this one has lightning coming from it too. Yeah, the warrior set is interesting. Yeah, very flashy at the front. Or the top, I mean. With like the head and shoulders there. I definitely like the lightning coming from it. So this one is for the hunter. This green one actually looks amazing. The flashiness kind of complementing the set, right? Yeah, I definitely think the green one is the better one of them all. Okay, so this one is for the monk. That looks really nice. I like the red and the gray and all that. That looks really nice. Yeah. Ooh, that is just monk colors right there. Like if you're trying to go traditional, you pick this. Yeah. Yeah, my monk, my monk will grab this one. 100%. Like, yeah, I really liked this one until I saw this one. This one is just, it shouts out monk. Yeah. I don't know if I would use the shoulders and helm that come with it. I probably would try to find something else, but the rest is pretty good. Okay, so this is the evoker. So far it looks badass. Yeah, this one looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like the evoker set. It does seem to be missing a helm here, but yeah. This is first look, by the way, guys. So like that will be fixed later. Later on, we will see an evoker with a good helm. Clearly they don't know what they're doing yet for the helm. This is the Death Knight. This one, I'm not sure what to think of it. Let's see, which one did I like the best here? Just to put it on a picture. I'd say this one I like the best. And I like it. It looks good. But I also feel like there might be too much going on with it. I don't know. It's one of those things. I like it, but I don't love it. But I don't dislike it. Okay, so here we have the Paladin. Hey, okay. It's hard to say, because one, I love purple, so leaving it on this one's kind of an odd choice for me. I like it, but as much as I want to love the shoulders, it's too much. It's just way too much. But to each their own. I'm giving you my opinion, right? To each their own. Clearly, they don't know what they're doing for a helm for this one yet either. I do like the ribbons on him, though. That looks amazing with the inscription there. And yeah, the belt looks good. Overall, it's not bad. I feel like the chest part is a little plain. It could have a little something going on there. But yeah, it's not a horrible set. I guess I need to see it with the helm. yeah, to know if I still like, you know, because the shoulders are cool, but without a helm, I don't know. Without the helm, it's just hard to see it as this badass transmog. So yeah, I'll give you my opinion again when they've decided what they're doing with the headpiece. So this one is the Demon Hunter. I believe this is the last one, which means we are missing some stuff. We'll go over it after. So, Demon Hunter. I can't say I like this. This is probably the first one that, you know, these colors are nice. I will say, if you do like this set, these are badass colors right here, like purple, green, and yellow together. Yeah, that is a very nice combination. I just am not a fan of the transmog itself. So that's the last one. I'll do a quick check to see if they've maybe added some extra ones in since I last looked, because clearly we're missing Priest. Is there anything else that we didn't see here? Warlock. Yeah, we're missing Priest, Warlock, Mage. And yeah, so probably next week I will have those. You know, maybe we'll see them in next week, but let's just do a quick check. Yeah, they're still missing, so in due time we'll have those sets and I will show you. They're just not available quite yet. Okay, so next up we have some armor and weapon models. So this first one is the Arathor cloth set. Arathor leather set. Arathor mail set. Arathor plate set. One-hand axes. These look really nice. I actually like these ones. Some ranged weapons. And those are very nice too. Daggers. Warglaives. One-hand mace. Offhand. I'm just gonna say, starting off good here. This offhand looks amazing. Polearm. Shields. Some staffs. I like these staffs. I really like pretty much anything that has these scribble and ribbons on them. I find that's really what's interesting me with this expansion. One-hand sword. There's only 2 of them in the list here. 2-hand swords. Some wands. And then there's these 2 items that are categoryless. They look like they'd be maces though. So next up we have some Night Elf weapon models that will go with the Heritage set. So next we have Earthen civilian armor. So I'm just gonna roll through it. This is a mixture of cloth, leather, mail, plate, but this is Earthen civilian armor. So these are the models. Right here is a meta achievement that you can see. It says defeat every dungeon in Kaz Elgar on Mythic or Mythic Keystone as tank, healer, and damage, and you'll get the set. So here is some of the sets. Now, there's a lot here, so I'm just going to put a little warning out that it's quite possible some of these are just NPCs, but you should be able to get some sets. I would love to get this one. That one's badass. It would be a great set to go after. So here's just some transmogs that you'll be able to acquire in the game. Worth noting before we get to it, the last one you see me click on is a gladiator reward. That would be this right here. So right here on screen is some questing armor. So you'll get this by doing some questing in Kaz-Elgar. And of course it's cloth, mail, plate, all that. And some weapons. Actually a lot of weapons, because this is, we're on page 25 of 99 right now. So we're gonna see a lot of stuff here. So yeah, we'll just roll through it fast. You can always pause if I'm going too fast here. Little lantern. I like the little swirl on this one. Nice. Okay, so that's the last one there. So next up, we talked a little bit on the raid before. This is some of the raid transmogs you can get your hands on. So this is 2-hand axes. And they look beautiful. Some bows. Crossbows. I didn't know what is going on with this red, but I am loving it. The way the red shines in these weapons is just beautiful. Warglaives. This right here is one of a kind. It's a Reaper blade. And then we have some fist weapons. And some daggers. 1-hand maces. Some 2-hand maces. And some pole arms. And then a bunch of shields. And some staffs. 1-hand swords. 2-hand swords. And then our final list is some offhands. So this right here is Harvester armor models. So they are Scarecrow inspired transmogs. Also, this was data mined. So this is the box of puntables. This is going to be the 2024 Wintervale gift. So quite a bit down the road. But yeah, thought I'd show it off anyway. So there is 2 achievements tied to this. what could it be, which you just get by getting the toy, which you'll get under the tree. And then the Gotta Punt 'em All achievement, which is for you to punt 30 creatures that appear out of the box of puntables toy. Also, there is a new Battleground. It will be a 10v10 Battleground. It's Earthen themed, and it'll be located out in Kaz Algar. And it's kind of a mix of Silver Shard Mines and Arathi Basin. You will battle it out to collect 1,500 resources by escorting carts, as well as holding a central crystal control point. So this is the Deep Hull Ravine. So far, there's 4 achievements. So 1 to win under 7 minutes, another to win with a score of 1,500 to 0, another's complete 100 victories, and then the others just to win a match. So very basic, pretty much every Battleground has those exact achievements, more or less. Okay, so now we're going to talk on mounts. So the first thing I thought we'd start with saying is that there is a total of 464 mounts that will be able to dragon ride in the War Within. The list is pretty long, and I don't feel like snipping it on screen here, so here you go. I feel like you guys probably still want to see it, but yeah, here's the list, and I will just scroll down. So there is a lot that will have the dragon riding capabilities. And just pause to check them all out. But yeah, there's a lot, almost 500. So yeah. So that is all of them. Nice to see Heartbreakers in the mix there. And I'm just gonna say they did one thing right with this. It was my question for the longest of time, because before they announced they were gonna do this, I kind of already knew they were gonna. They were never gonna hear the end of it from the community if they hadn't. They were forced into doing this, right? Like, yeah. So my biggest thing was that I'm not forced into dragon riding. I've made it very clear how much I dislike the dragon riding from the very beginning. So if you're like me and wasn't a huge fan of it either, but you like it once in a while, it's nice to go fast if you're in like a rush or something. They did say that you can toggle between it. On the top of your mounts, there'll be a thing called Switch Flight Style. And when you click on it, it will take you into the dragon riding. So dynamic flying is going to be, your dragon riding. It's called sky riding. And then your regular speed that we've all known forever, that's going to be called steady flight. So yeah, so sky riding and steady flight. So you can toggle between the two. I'm very happy that this is a thing. Not gonna lie, I might have not played the next expansion if I was forced into dragon riding again. I didn't even, I played Dragon Flight as I play all the expansions, but I'm just gonna say, I didn't focus Dragon Flight. I didn't make sure I was doing all these things until I was able to use my mounts, my regular mounts. The whole time we only could fly on dragon riding, I pretty much hated the game at that point. Yeah. So, very good feature. Yeah. So now with that said, druids. This was a big one for me because I main druid and have for 20 years. So once again, if Druid became inconvenient for me, that would be probably a quit. Yeah, because, well, it's been 20 years. You can't teach an old dog to do new tricks, right? Is that the saying? I don't know. But anyway, so in the War Within, Druids will be able to use their flight form with Skyriding. Once again, the new name of Dragon Riding. The toggle works for this one, because I will admit I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure because Druid's flight form is a form, it's not like in your mount collection. So I wasn't sure how this would work for a Druid, and I was really worried at first when I found out that they had made it for the Druid. I was really worried that you were forced into it. And I started planning a quit at that point. I'm like, okay, how am I gonna tell people now that we're no longer doing news videos? And that will be forever. And so I found out that it sees your decision on the regular mount screen. So even although it is technically a form, it will see that you're in either Skyriding or Steady Flight so that you can decide which speed you're going at. Next, the Dracthyr. You know, we're still talking flying around here. So the Dracthyr will be able to do regular Steady Flight in addition to Dragon Riding. The only real restriction here is that, you know, as soon as you touch the ground, it ends. I'm guessing this would be the only reason people would care. So I'm just gonna say you won't be able to do what a Druid can, where you just kind of like hover over and you can like flower pick and shit like that. Yeah, you're gonna have to touch the ground, be dismounted, a mob could come after you. Like, yeah, it's, you know, I'm happy to see my Druid still has something that's unique to the Druid, and that is it. Yeah. Now, the biggest question here, and I don't have a next class to talk about when it comes to this flying, but I will say the comment section is full of people wanting something for the Demon Hunters. Now, I don't know if they would do anything for Demon Hunter, just because Demon Hunter is... A Demon Hunter flying is kind of like a Druid dashing in their cat. It's limited, and it's not really the major way you get around. Like, it's just something you do every so often when you can. But yeah, I have never thought about a Demon Hunter as a character that just is born to be in the air, you know? Like, I've just never thought of it. It's different with Dracthyr, because it was kind of one of their main features was to be in the air flying. Okay, so we have discovered a lot of mounts in the War Within. So here's some Cloud Griffins. And here's some Mole Rats. Fire Bees. Chitin. This is the Earthen Paladin mount. And this is the Earthen Ram. The Earthen Horse. Firefly. Shadow Elemental. Skittering a Spider. Unicorn. Firebug. Gargoyle. Gorms. I'm just gonna say, I'm calling it now. Gorms is probably, how many Gorms were there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, calling it now. Gorms is the KSM mount. Yeah. Yeah, I will not be surprised if that's the source. Yeah. Flesh bugs. This is the Vicious War Mount for Horde. And then this here is the Vicious War Mount for Alliance. These look pretty badass, honestly. A boat, you know, that would be pretty badass if that is actually a mount. Unfortunately, if it is a mount, I hope they do something to it, because while a boat would be cool, I don't want to settle for a piece of crap boat. This boat needs some detail on it. You know, like, I'd rather they give us nothing than give us some, you know, fucking low quality rundown boat. So yeah, I'm hoping that this isn't the final product here. Hopefully they remember that the boat is unfinished. And then the last mounts here are some links that are beautiful. This is definitely my favorite out of the whole collection here. I love these guys, and yeah, they look beautiful. So right here on screen is yet another mount that you'll be able to get, and I feel like this is going to be kind of a main mount that you get. I've just got a hunch that it's going to kind of be something that you're working on all expansion, that you probably get introduced to probably day one, you know? And so this is a flying airship mount. This, I don't know if you guys have ever played Kingdom Hearts before, but this, as soon as I heard about this, the first thing that came to mind was the gummy ship, which is something they dropped, right? It wasn't a great feature in Kingdom Hearts, but the idea of it was nice, and you could customize it to get around. And yeah, so it would be cool if it operated like that. You know, it's a little early, but how the gummy ship is when you would fly it, there was like a little mini game that you played to get to the next destination. It was something to do while you were flying, basically. And that would be cool for this if the purpose of this mount is to get you to somewhere, right? It is a delve feature, so it's a mount from the delves. So for now, we'll just show off all the customizations that currently can be done to it. Currently being when you can get into the War Within. And I like the idea because for those that have watched my streams for a while, you might remember that all those trips I would take over to Mechagon to do my Mechagon dungeon, when I would fly back, I would be like, oh, I wish this was a mount. It needs to be a mount. And, you know, this also kind of reminds me of that helicopter. Yeah. And I've been saying that since BFA. I always loved that flyback from Mechagon. It looks comfy. Everything on it, like, look at that seating. Yeah, it looks like a very comfy mount. I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah, looking forward to customizing this little guy. I love the idea of the flag in there. Yeah, very, very awesome. This right here is the gladiator mounts for the War Within. Okay, pet lovers, I got some stuff for you guys too. So here is some pets. First one is a baby crypt pet. Next is the baby Arathi lynx pet. They are adorable. Baby firefly pet. Baby mole pet. This is a candle pet. I betcha this comes off the Candle King, right? It's one pet. Yeah, that's definitely a reward off the Candle King. And then a little tank. And then we have some Nerubian beetles. And then we have some spider pets. This is the last one to show off here. But they look adorable. I don't even really, like, I'm not a spider person. I hate spiders. But, like, they made this spider look cute. Yeah, I think my favorite one is... What's my favorite one? I think it's the last one, actually. The light blue. Yeah. Although this one is pretty nice. The blue with the light blue, dark blue, light blue. Yeah, I think I like him the best. Yeah, the spider pet is... Well, I'd say the spider pet and the lynx pet are my favorite. Okay, so there's one last thing I'd like to add in. So we're done showing off the pets, but there is one thing that kind of involves pets that I'd like to mention, and that is the Arachnophobia Mode. So basically, Arachnophobia Mode is perfect for players like myself who dislike spiders. Although in WoW, WoW's kind of been my exception to that rule, because I know WoW's just a video game, so like the spiders don't really bug me in there. No pun intended on the bug me. But if you want to not see the spiders, you can. So now what you can do is you can use the Arachnophobia mode to change the spider models into crabs. Not that that's any better, you know? Why can't you change them into like cute little puppy dogs or something, you know? Clearly, they have discovered that people have a fear of spiders. Like I said, it's never bugged me because I know it's a game, which is weird because to this day, I cannot watch the movie Arachnophobia because it looks too real. I think with WoW, it never affected me because WoW is cartoony, so it's it's like you already know it's fake because it's a game, but you really know it's fake because it's cartoony. It's not like in no sense do you ever feel like you're in the real world in WoW. But with the Arachnophobia movie, that was real spiders, you know? Like, yeah, or at least it looked like real spiders. It was like, filming wise, it wasn't, right? But it looked like real spiders, and there were actors, so there were actual humans there, and it was in the real world, right? So it was different. And so they decided, since the War Within takes you into Spiderland pretty much with the Nerubians and all that, that, you know, maybe it was time to put an Arachnophobia mode. Me personally, I think it's a good mode to have, and it does help for people who have a fear, but you're not really playing the game as intended if you activate it. Yeah, the way I see it is, if you have a fear of spiders, that's what makes it that much better, right? You going into this world where things, you know, if you take the fear away, there's no threat, right? And yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there. I feel like, you know, you play how you play, of course, but me, as a person who doesn't like spiders, I'm not gonna use Arachnophobia. Not unless they change it to something super adorable. You know, if they change it to like cute little teddy bears or something, then for the fun of it, for one day, I'll probably activate it. But I don't like crabs either. So, you know, I'd be changing it from one thing to another of two types that I don't like. So it really don't help me in any case. The only place where I feel like spiders were kind of a threat in WoW, but still not so much. But keep in mind, coming from a person who doesn't like spiders, the Worgen area, because it's dark, right? It has more of a threat element to it when it came to spiders. I guess Duskwood as well, because if you played at nighttime, you know, like it had dark moments to it, but overall, like, yeah, it's, I've heard that there's people that say they won't play an MMO because it has spiders in it, and I've just never believed it. I've never believed it because I don't like spiders either, but it don't affect me in the game because it's cartoony, you know? Like, it's just, you can't even pretend it's real, you know? Like, it's hard to pretend it's real. Yeah. I think maybe if you could, like, clone yourself and look like you in the game, then maybe, and if the spiders looked a little more real, but the spiders don't look real. So, you know, yeah. I've always thought that was weird when people say they can't play a game. Yeah, and I'm just gonna say, you know, hot take, but the crabs, they should have made it something else. There should be features to Arachnophobia mode, because I think I might actually be a little more worried about a crab than a spider. I'm just gonna say, I think they might have taken a bad one and made it worse. Now, there are a lot of people commenting on this. One of the comments I laughed really hard at, and it was, does it come with a juice box and a coloring book? and you know, I gotta say, yeah, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Like, 20 years WoW has been around, it's had spiders in it, and now we're changing things because of some people that have fears. And like, I have a fear of spiders, and I've played this game for fucking 20 years. You know? Like, I also have admitted to having a fear of snakes on stream, and yeah, there's snakes in the fucking game. So you know, it is kind of funny, I will say. But at this point, no one should be surprised because, you know, because the reality is they're trying to cater to more people playing. And, you know, The reality is no Arachnophobia mode is gonna make the game better. You know, maybe some people play it because of it that they didn't before, but the time frame of WoW being good it's been a long time ago, right? Like, yeah, the best you're gonna get is where it's at now because it can only get worse. It's never gonna get better. So, yeah. But overall, my thoughts are whatever. Yeah, you either activate it or you don't, whatever. I personally don't care. I think it may confuse people if you're a content creator and change it though. So my suggestion, if you're a person that does videos, I would not touch the Arachnophobia mode because it might actually confuse people that also don't activate it. And yeah, they see you fighting some crabs, they're gonna click off your video probably thinking they're in the wrong area. So yeah. But aside from that, I don't really care. Okay, guys, so what I'm about to say normally would be at the beginning of the video, but I'm in edit mode right now, and a new update just occurred that I want to let you guys know about in this week's video, and it involves the patch, right? Which I talked about earlier, and I always kind of like more recent news is always at the beginning of the video, but it's taken me a while to actually edit this video, and if I go clip it into the beginning, I have to redo all my timestamps that I've been keeping track of during the edit, and I really don't want to do that, guys. So I'm just gonna put it kind of in here near the end. So the update is that, well, as you know, tomorrow is patch day, and that brings the new season. But there's also things that aren't going to be with that patch, and that is Dragonflight Darkheart, which basically it's the final chapter of Dragonflight. And then, of course, the mop remix. So in the beginning of the video, and I'm not going to fix it, hopefully you just made it to the end and you saw this part or checked the timestamps. But I had said that the mop remix was going to start a week after the patch dropped. That is what they originally said. So that, you know, at the time that I said that in the video, I was accurate. But this morning they threw up an update that changed that. So basically the update is that Darkheart, which is the final chapter of Dragonflight, is going to release on May 7th. And then the Mists of Pandaria event will release on May 16th. And assuming the calendar doesn't change, because I'm just going off what's on the calendar right now, but assuming the calendar doesn't change, we will have the MOP Remix event until August 19th. So, yeah. End date isn't really a big deal right now, though. Like, everyone just wants to know when they can start. So, yeah, May 16th is when you can start the MOP Remix. So yeah, just wanted to add that in. I will, of course, remind you guys when it's closer, but just thought I'd add that before we, get close to, concluding this video. Okay, guys, so that is the end of the video. I fear that this is gonna be hell to edit. The time frame it took me to record this video was actually longer than last week's because of all of the alpha. There's a lot of shit that got discovered this past week. I really hope it calms down now. Yeah. I'd like to go back to my 30 minutes or less news videos. But sometimes it gets kind of crazy, right? So that's it for the news. Let's get into my goals and accomplishments. I'll do my best to be quick with it. So my goal this week was to get Plunderstorm done. I did accomplish that. I put a video out a few days ago showing that off. And yeah, so we are at level 40. I got all the cosmetics. We're good to go. I'm done with Plunderstorm until they decide to bring it back later on for, another mode. Plunderstorm will still be there till the end of the month, so you have till the end of the month, and then it's gonna vanish. So if you are still doing Plunderstorm, you still got a bit of time, and there's a really good buff going on in there right now. So yeah, you can level pretty fast right now. And then as far as accomplishments, I did a lot. I would have actually done even more, but I was so tired today I didn't do anything in WoW. Plus I have this long ass video to do. So accomplishments, here on screen, you can see we started with getting the Zaralek Cavern Racing completionist out of the way. I was on a mission to do all those races. I'm really close to being done. And then I got sidetracked, and then all of a sudden I started wanting to do the Merrick Centaur meta. So we totally swapped, and I went and did that. So I finished, I got the kill 30 bosses in the Grand Hunts. Azir, I just happened to be out there for some hunts, and I killed a rare, and I guess I was 9 out of 10, I guess. So I got that one out of the way, and then Hunt Master, I got that one out of the way, and then Disgruntled Hunter. While I was out there, I noticed the toy that you could get, so I went and did the Honor Our Ancestors. So I did that. Basically, it's this buff that you get. It lasts an hour, and then you just go, hand in items to NPCs. Well, they're ghosts, that's why you need the buff. But very cool achievement. And then I did all the treasures in Anarin, and I got Who's a Good Bakar finally done. That's a lot of dogs you have to pet, and yeah, so that one is complete. So yeah, knocked out like 8 achievements. So here is the goal. I have decided that I'm continuing Centaur. I want that meta. I like it. So this is the goal. Tetramancer is really close to being done. Here it is on screen. I just need the red. That's all I need. And yeah, so I'm just down to the last companion color, and then we'll have Tetrachromancer. And then Adventurer of Anaran Plains. I'm very surprised in the fact that I've only killed 3 rares out there. Yeah, so very surprised. Pretty much all the other achievements I have a bunch of rares killed. But yeah, so that one will be easy. I'll just find a group that's doing some rare farming and hop in there and, get some rares knocked out of the way. Really, the tough one is that color. Or Tetrachromancer is, it's really kind of the tough one. But I'm glad it's close, and I'm really close to having this meta done. So that is my goal for this week. At the very least, I'd just like to ignite the Adventurer of the Anaran Plains. I'm totally expecting that last color is gonna take me a hot minute, so if this one just at least gets done, then I can kind of start working on another meta. So yeah, also, the Huolon thing I was talking about earlier, well, I did actually loot Huolon's mount, so that was very cool. And then I also did get another mount, so, because I've been doing all these achievements, and some of them required, like, looting certain things from the Expedition Scout Packs. So, since I was, hunting all those down, I got the Verdant Skitter Fly, which is a mount that you can get from the Expedition Scout Packs. It is 1% from the looks of it, and you do need to be at least 25 in Dragon Scale Expedition for, to get it. Yeah. I feel very lucky that I got it because, of course, when I'm doing the news, I like to research things after I say it to make sure it's accurate. So, of course, I researched to make sure, do you actually need Renown 25? And yes, people were basically only seeing it after they got Renown 25 for their Dragon Scale. And in the comments, people are like, talking about like 200 to like 400 tries to get this sucker. And I've been, up until now, I really wasn't opening too many of those packs. Yeah. So I got it definitely in less than 50. Yeah. My add-on was telling me 20, but I don't know if it's reset or anything. Yeah, but I got it very early in. So anyway, that is the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. My apologies if it ends up being quite a bit longer. I'm hoping it's not longer than last week's, but it may be right around the same time frame. So yeah, that's 2 long videos for you guys back to back. But there was a lot going on this week. Yeah, the alpha dropping definitely brought a lot of news for this week. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your current goals are in the game, what you're currently doing. Are you looking forward to patch day? That's the end of the video, so I hope you enjoyed. Have a great week in WoW, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.